Hello, my name is David Webb and this is a video for Dweebovision. I am a Scrabble grandmaster based in England and have played tournament Scrabble at the highest level for more than 20 years, including representing England at 5 World Championships. In this video I am going to play Scrabble with another player over the internet and provide in-game commentary on my moves. Hopefully this will help to improve your game and also be fun to watch. A few moments ago I logged on to the Internet Scrabble Club and challenged the highest rated players not currently playing to a game where we each have 20 minutes to make all our moves. The first to respond was Rajveer, so let's join the game. My opponent has played Jeune and I have a blank, which is good. But do I have a bingo? The duplicate E's and I's may reduce the prospects of a bingo. There certainly isn't one through the J, unlikely to be one through another vowel given the number of vowels that I have. So I need to look at the N. Is there an 8-letter bingo through the N? I can't see one. So now I'm looking for a good score which will use either my V or my Z. Well, this is a much tougher rack than it initially looked like being. I think I'll play Visey. It leaves the duplicate E, but if you're going to have a duplicate vowel, the E is probably the best to have. And that's a nice rack. I certainly have a bingo now. I'm looking at the E of Jeune. It would be nice to have a bingo starting or ending with that tile because that would be a triple word score. Nope, and Visey's no good. That's rather irksome. My opponent plays Fouth for 27. Gosh, how annoying. Jive does not score well enough down from the J. It also doesn't reach the double word score. I'm thinking about playing Jizz for 19. I don't like the rack leave with the preponderance of vowels. I do need to play off the I and either the V or the Z. Well, maybe Vi is better up here. 17 points. Yes, I certainly prefer the leave with this, so I think I'll play it. I have egotizes down from the second E of jeune, if that remains unblocked. And it does. Well, I could spend time looking for a better bingo, but I sense that there isn't a better one out there. This certainly scores very well with 104 points. Okay, my pickup is not too bad. I don't think there's a bingo there, either as a 7 or as an 8, with the floaters that are on the board. But I should be able to score well and have a decent rack leave. I noticed that my opponent challenged egotizes, so I get an additional 5 points for the challenge of a valid word. Hopefully he was encouraged by my foolhardiness in playing Visey. I have naivety through the V of Vi, which places the Y on a double letter score, which then in turn gets doubled, so that should be a reasonable score. My opponent has played Goa for 9, which does not score well, but maybe he's left himself with 4 great tiles. Let's put naivety down and see what it looks like, and then think whether there's anything better. Well, you can see from the bottom right of the screen that that scores 34 points. I can't see anything better. And I like the score, so I'm going with this. And I pick up the second blank, which is good. I have Uralis and Urials, which goes on top of and below naivety. I'm wondering if there's anything through the S of egotizers. Well, my opponent has taken out the spot where I was going to play Uralis, but it also plays onto Goa to make Goas. I have Solidado through the D of Dory, but that doesn't reach the triple word squares, which is what I would like to do if I can. I do have an OID ending, so it's possible there is a bingo ending OID. And I have the ISO start. I have Diabolos. That's quite nice. Let's put that down and see what it looks like. I was just mentally running through the letters that the blank could be. And fortunately, Diabolos uses the blank as a B, so I came across that word quite quickly. Diabolos scores 77. Is there a better move? Probably not. A bingo through the S of egotizes would either not score as well as Diabolos, or would score only a marginally higher score, which then leaves the Z of egotizes as a letter to use in a bingo, and I don't think there is one. So I'm going with Diabolos for 77 points. I'm now over 100 points in the lead, which is good. And we're about halfway through the game. My rack's pretty good, but it's not a bingo rack as a 7. And I'm looking at the floaters, and I can't see an 8-letter word. Having the G and the I on one's rack, one looks for an ING ending, but there isn't an N on my rack or available as a floater, in which case the G becomes more of a handicap than a good letter, and particularly in combination with the B and the D. It means it's not such a great rack. I have a bridge down from the A of Diabolos, 21 points. But with this rack, I think I can do better than that. I should be able to leave myself with a better leave than just a T. I'm going to place bodge on the board and see what it looks like. $24 points. It takes out the letter underneath the A of Diabolos, where my opponent could score highly with a tile such as X. The rack leave of RIT is okay. RITE would be much better, but that would require playing just the B, D and G, and that's not possible on this board. I've got 9.5 minutes left, so I have a reasonable amount of time. The board's very open with the floaters from Diabolos and egotizes, so I shouldn't give too high a priority to closing the board down. I think I will go with bodge. And I draw the Q. I don't have a U. There is a U on the board, the U of juvie, which I can use to play quat, but then that then opens up a bingo lane with an S in front of it. There are, however, several short words comprising the Q without the U, and I have several of them available to me on my rack. Briefly running through them, there's chi, spelt QI, there's chin, QIN, and there's cat, QAT, and a slightly longer word is Tranq, Tranq. There's a couple of places I can see where Tranq plays, parallel to Juvie, to its left, and also underneath the E of Bodge. Well, my opponent's played Wick for 31 points, which takes out one of the Tranq spots. One of the attractions of Tranq underneath the E of Bodge is that it inhibits the use of column 15, where at the moment a bingo can be played beginning with an S. I'm wondering if there's anywhere I can play cat, chi or chin to good effect. I can't see anywhere, so I think I'll play Tranq underneath bet. One advantage of Tranq over the shorter words is that it uses more tiles, and when you are ahead by about 100, expediting the end of the game is a good thing. Tranq for 30. I think that's fine. And I pick up reasonable tiles. Having two M's and a Y means that a bingo is unlikely, either of 7 or 8 letters, but I should be able to score reasonably well and leave a decent rack leave for my next move. Yomim, Y-O-M-I-M, is a nice word in itself, but I don't know if it plays, and even if it did, it wouldn't necessarily be optimal. My opponent continues to score well with duked, and he is now only 82 points behind. There are 25 tiles in the bag, plus the 7 on his rack. I have about 7 minutes on the clock. Right, I need to play off 2 of M, M and Y to leave my rack in good shape. I don't want to open up bingo lanes for my opponent because one bingo would bring him right back in the game. I'm looking to see if I can use the Z of egotizes, but I can't see that I can. The Y and the M are often nice letters in that they can be put on double word scores. Sorry, double letter scores and triple letter scores and score well. There aren't a great number of opportunities for that. This rack is more problematic than I was expecting it to be. And that's really a reflection of the board rather than the rack. Thinking about Rami. There's plenty that's wrong with this move, but there are no standout moves which I'm drawn to, and I am mindful of the amount of time I have left, which isn't very much. Okay. Now, the reason I played Rami, leaving IOL, is that there's only one I and one O in the bag, as you can see from the remaining tiles at the bottom. So a big problem of keeping I's and O's is the risk of drawing duplicates, and that was unlikely. Also, there are plenty of A's left. So playing off an A, which is generally a good tile, was less of a problem. I still believe the move was probably suboptimal, but I have been rewarded for that suboptimal play with a nice rack. And as the board stands, I've got Alerion Alienor and one other A word, which plays to the left or the right of Rami. And aileron takes a T at the front to make tailoron, and that can play through the T of egotizes. Well, this is looking good. My opponent's played left for 7. He may well be close to a bingo, but I am now going to play a bingo. Aileron, Alerion, Alienor. I'm not going to play tailoron because that would place the N on the K15 square and open up the triple word squares at H15 and O15. And in particular, it would open up the possibility of a 9 timer in where he would play all his tiles and hit both such squares and go into the lead probably. So it's going to be one of the A bingos. There probably isn't a great deal between the three. They all place vowels next to premium squares. Just wondering whether to play to the left or the right of the Y of Rami. I think this is better because it forces a bingo to begin with a vowel if he wants to use the square to the right of AY as his starting point. Gosh, another pretty good rack. I am drawing well today. I'm 168 points in the lead, and there are 12 tiles in the bag. I can't see a 7-letter bingo. And Alerion has reduced the number of floaters in that it's taken out the floaters from egotizes, so the board has suddenly become fairly blocked. I've got just under 3 minutes left to play. There are 10 tiles in the bag, plus the 7 on my opponent's rack, and there are 5 vowels, so there are 5 vowels out of 17 tiles. So I'm not too worried about the fact that my rack is vowel heavy, marginally vowel heavy. I like the idea of playing my P on this square because it removes its use by my opponent for the X, and it also obstructs a bingo in column 13. I like pain because it obstructs bingos starting with the S of egotizes. I'm not worried about the vowel excess in my leave because it's marginal and there are a few vowels in the bag, and this scores 24 points. So I'm going to play it. And I draw the X, which is good. I've got, well, I was going to mention the word, and will mention the word cortex, which I can play to the left of wick. I don't think it'll play, but I believe coexert is a word, and I'm quite glad it doesn't pay because I would be sorely tempted to play it. 2 phonies in a game is a bit remiss. Okay, there are 3 tiles left in the bag. I've only got a minute on my clock. Well, I could play ox to the left of juvie, but I think I'll play cortex. I am short of time. This doesn't provide any openings for my opponent. And it may be the best move. Okay, I'm about 180 points in the lead. I have won this game. My opponent doesn't have a bingo. He doesn't have a great rack. I think we just want to end this game reasonably quickly now. In fact, I have to, as I've got 20 seconds left on my clock. I can't see that I can play all my letters. So I think I'll just play 2 of them. I really haven't got time to find best plays. I need to be careful not to go overtime, but there are several places to play my A and my E. For example, under BAM, I could play A, E and B, E. There will be better plays than that. I do not have the time to find them. Right, and the game concludes. In the end, that was reasonably comfortable, but it didn't feel reasonably comfortable until quite near the end. Well, thank you very much for watching. I think there were some interesting spots in that game. My name is David Webb, and this has been a video for Dweebovision.